Thank you for tuning in, and welcome to Rant. This will be the show where I pick a subject that is on my mind and rant about it for a few minutes, and hopefully we can get some discussion going in the comments and stuff like that. And here for the first episode, we're gonna ask the question: are the Dark Angels traitors? First of all, I should probably make it clear that I don't think that they're traitors. Not at all. Do I think that they have done some shady stuff? Definitely. Do I think that they feel above the general law of the Imperium? Definitely. But traitors? Nah, not at all. Let's start with the accusation that the Lion himself was a traitor. I can see where that is coming from, mainly in the novels. We have some hints here and there, but actually all of them are usually debunked in the same novel as they are presented. So you really have to want them to be traitors to fall into that trap, in my opinion. For instance, when the Lion returns to Caliban, some would say that the reason that the Dark Angels stationed there were shooting at them were that they had realized that the Lion was a traitor and so on and so forth. But we know for a fact that Luther was corrupted by chaos, and we know for a fact that he were the one leading the guys on Caliban. So that wouldn't make any sense. If the Chaos Gods had both Luther and the Lion under control, why would they make them fight each other, especially after losing the heresy just a few years before? Also, there are plenty of lore where we follow Lionel Johnson and follow the ones close around him, and at no point when we're doing that is it hinted that he might be traitorous. The only time he actually questions the Emperor and his decisions, as I recall it, is the decision to make Horus the War Master, where he think he should have been the War Master because he leads the First Legion and so forth. So he does reinstate his librarians while traveling in the warp and being sieged by demons, because that's the only solution to handle the problem at hand. But let's be honest. Any chapter, or rather all the chapters, except the Black Templars, ended up reinstating their librarians. The Space Wolves actually never disbanded their Order of Librarians. They just called them something else and figured that would be all fine. So yeah, anyway. Also, we know that when the Lion is fighting the Fate Weaver, the main greater demon of Thinch, Thingy, Birdman, the Fate Weaver attempts to use the Lion's doubts, fears, and sparks of corruption against him, and loses because he is 100% loyal, and the Fate Weaver can't find anything to pick at. And that in itself should actually just be proof that the Lion was not a traitor. Luther were a traitor, definitely. And I think perhaps he's the only Dark Angel in all the lore I've read I would mark as a traitor, and he was not a status. He just did not have the Lion's gene seed. He was a gene-enhanced human that for some reason have lived 10,000 years now. Perhaps because of the demonic possession, I don't know. Anyway, Luther allied with the noble families of Caliban and ordered his Astartes to fire upon and fight the Lion when he was returning. And that is probably where most of all this stuff springs from, because yes, the Dark Angels are not too keen about anyone finding out why the Caliban was destroyed, or that there were members of their legion who basically obeyed chaos. But that doesn't make them traitors, especially not the survivors. And what we know of the Fallen, most of them, are that, well, they are living normal lives in the outer rim of several systems, trying to help humanity best they can, staying under the radar. And only very few of them actually joins Chaos or falls to Chaos. Some of them joins warbands, but remains loyal, trying to work from within a certain Chaos faction to actually help the Empire and stuff like that. So not even the Fallen are anywhere seen as true traitors, from what I've been able to dig up. Even Cypher, who for some reason is still in Index Chaos in the new books and has over the years been in the Chaos Codex, I never saw him as a traitor. He is definitely a guy who is opposite the Dark Angels when it comes to their internal story, but that doesn't make him a Chaos traitor at all, the way I see it, or a heretic or anything like that. We actually know that Cypher shows up a lot of times over the history, helping Imperial forces to victory and then disappearing before the Dark Angels can catch him. But does that make the Dark Angels traitors, that they want to catch him and stop him from spilling their secrets and stuff? I don't think so. The Dark Angels and their successors do refer to themselves as the Unforgiven, but basically that's because they hold themselves to some really high ideals, and from their point of view, they failed the Emperor and want to redeem themselves. And that's not traitorous-ish thing. In my mind, that is actually being exceptionally loyal. I think perhaps a few of the other chapters should consider themselves Unforgiven as well. But never mind that. They do prioritize due to their own schemes and schedules, and don't give 2 cents of... Yeah, well, they really don't care what the Lords of Terror or the Inquisition wants, and to be honest, isn't that just what being Space Marine is? I mean, they're above the law, they're Astartes, they handle stuff and works outside the general chain of command. Other chapters do that all the time too. I mean, yeah, sure, the Dark Angels have killed some Inquisitors here and there, but to be honest, the Inquisitors are usually power-hungry maniacs with way too much authority and the Emperor's seal and whatnot. And the Emperor did not create the Inquisition. That was done after he was put on the Golden Throne. So I totally get why the Dark Angels wouldn't be interested in some mortal being like, oh wait, you did something back way before I was born, and now I want you all destroyed. But of course they want to stop that from getting out and that from happening. I mean, just because they're not keen on the crazier parts of the Empire doesn't mean that they're not loyal to the Imperium itself, or the Emperor for that matter. Actually, I think that is probably the whole point. The Dark Angels are ultra loyal to the Emperor's Imperium of Man and to humanity, and to be that, they kind of have to sometimes cross some of the more insane factions inside the Imperium. And sure, sometimes they sacrifice human lives or go against a direct order or call for help to hunt down a fallen and stuff, but other chapters do stuff like that all the time too. Have their own plan, and, well, to make an omelette, you have to, I don't know, sacrifice a few planets, I guess. That doesn't make them good guys or heroes. They're not the salamanders. But, well, very few groups inside the Imperium are proper good guys as such. And I actually think that the Dark Angels' motivation are a better excuse than than a lot of other stuff we see. I mean, sure, the Dark Angels and their successors, all the Unforgiven, still functions pretty much as a legion, but that's not unique to them. I mean, we have the fists and the Last Wall protocol, where Dawn himself actually made sure that they would continue to function as a legion if need be. And truly, I feel that the Ultramarines are actually the biggest sinners in that aspect, because they have a lot of successes and a nasty habit of operating as a single army. So it doesn't really make sense to point out that as why the Unforgiven are bad guys. So the Dark Angels are mysterious, they're secretive, they have some bad stuff going on, but all in all for the good of mankind, the way I see it. And I really want to hear what you think in that aspect. So comment below, let's have a civilized discussion. Please don't get into the whole the Dark Angels are homosexuals thing, because they're Space Marines. They doesn't have a sexuality. And the Dark Angels versus Space Wolf thing kind of deserves a video for itself. I want to get into that next time, I think. Other than that, I really look forward to see what the new codex will bring of developments, because the Dark Angel story, to be honest, have been quite stale for many years. It's been eternal hunt for the Fallen, and that's about it, making them very two-dimensional. Whereas a lot of the lore, actually, when you go some years back, had much more flesh on it. And I really hope that they do something cool with them, especially now that Cypher is running around and fist bumping with Gilliman. It would be nice to get some proper history describing the other side of that story. I would really think it was sorry. Something that would be really awesome, actually, is if they not only release a model and rules for the land, but for Luther as well. I mean, we know that Luther, all he wants is for the land to forgive him, and he is still alive under the rock. And if the land wakes up or stops being emo in his chamber and just comes out, he could forgive Luther, and Luther could actually become a model in himself. Maybe something like the Dark Angel version of a demon host or something. That would be interesting. Also, the Watchers in the Dark, we know very little of them still, and it just seems so obvious that there should be some more to them. Why they chose Caliban, why they chose the Order appearing to Sahariel back way before the Empire came to the planet, and why they are living on the rock now, and with the last few releases, why they are accompanying the Deathwing around all the time, carrying relics. Some fleshing out of that would also be really cool, I think. So, yeah, let me know what you think. This has been Rant. It's been fun to make, so I hope it's also at least interesting for you to watch. And with that, yeah, not much else to say than take care and bye-bye!
I'd jump right in that volcano if I wasn't so good at whistling.